Ambrose Ezewani. Today we are looking at the labor industrial bill. Right now before the upper legislative chamber of our dear country is a bill seeking an act to further amend the Trade Union Act 2005 as amended, and the purpose is to make provisions for ballots as requirement before any action taken by trade unions and other matters connected therewith. The bill is sponsored by Heineken Lokobori from Bayelsa West, a PDP member, and he says workers have the right to go on strike and that the National Assembly had made a law protecting the employees who have legitimate right where there is a legitimate trade dispute to go on strike. But the point is this: Labour is seeing that bill as a way of gagging the union, forcing the people not to speak out. They say it's an offshoot of the protest they had following the hike in fuel prices. But the legislators said no. It is an attempt to remove politics from labor-related issues in the country. It is meant to sanitize the process of industrial action rather than prevent workers from going on strike. What they are saying in plain words is that before the NLC calls out people for industrial action, there should be a ballot, and a certain measure must be maintained before that holds. And they say that's the other side now, the Labour saying the National Assembly cannot tell the NLC how it should go on strike. That's the issue we're looking at today. And with me here in the studios to look at this interesting topic is a well-known legal practitioner and social activist, Barrister Onyekachi Ubani. Welcome to Bring It On.
Thank you, Ambrose. Good evening.
Labour and, it appears, the legislators. The legislators say we want to sanitize the process of going on industrial action. And Labour is saying you are gagging us. Now, looking at the timing, because Labour is saying, why is it coming at this time that we have just finished the national strike on the hike in fuel prices?
Yes.
Has the timing, do you fault the timing of this bill?
Yeah, certainly. It is a case of an outsider crying more than the bereaved. You ask yourself, what is the mischief that this particular bill is intending to cure? Who is complaining? Who is the complainant in this issue?
Okay.
Labour were the ones that went on strike. And before they went on that strike, it was a collective decision. And it touches on the economy, it touches on their personal life. And they felt that this is the time for us to tell the government what they wanted. And so if Labour is complaining that the decision to go on strike was not taken collectively or there was no democratic principles employed, then the legislators who happen to be our representative will come in and say, yes, some people were not taken into consideration when the strike was called.
The political undertone there, because the Labour activists are saying this is a politically sponsored something, and the man sponsoring it, Heineken, is from Bayelsa.
Yes.
So it's like he's representing someone's
Yes, his brother is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Maybe the president felt totally embarrassed that Nigerians, with one voice,
yes,
I'm talking about with one voice, both from the south, both from the north, spoke against what was going on in governance. So it was a total embarrassment to the government still in power. And so they needed somebody that can do the hatches man's job. And then they sought for a man who is willing, and that man that is willing is from Bayelsa State, yes, where the president comes from. So it is politically motivated. Okay. Actually, Labour is correct to say this is the voice of Jacob, and then probably the hand is that of Esau.
Okay. Peter Selle said, along with Umar, the president, that the proposed bill will add no value at all to labor relations in the country.
And that is correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct, completely correct. What is it going to add? You know that anytime Labour wants to go on strike, that is a collective decision. Okay. All the leaders of the Labour Union usually meet either in Abuja or Lagos, and they usually take a collective decision. I remember when they issue a press statement, they always say that they cannot even call it off until they revert to the leaders also, who will now say, look, call it off or don't call it off.
Okay.
They don't unilaterally take any decision that bind Labour members without the proper channel, without even the the democratic norms being employed because it is voted democratically. Let's go on strike.
Okay.
And so if there is anyone that should complain, my brother Bruce, about the issue of democracy,
yes,
in the process of calling for strike, I think it should be the Labour Union members, and not the House, yes, and not the National Assembly members, who are not even Labour Union members, because nobody has complained. So you ask yourself, what is the mischief that this law, wants to cure, or the bill? So there's no mischief whatsoever. Nobody's complaining,
right,
except them.
It will be right in what Umar said, that it amounts to interference in the internal democracy of the Labour Union. Clearly,
because when you now begin to legislate on the processes towards calling for strike, that is internal arrangement of the unions. You are going beyond your boundaries, and clearly, it is at variance with the provisions of the Constitution. So if you do that, the Labour people have a right to cry out and say, look, we didn't complain about this to you. We didn't bring this before the House. If there is anyone that should bring it before the House, is the Labour Union members, and not somebody who has no interest whatsoever in what goes on in the Labour.
Now, let's look at this aspect. At this level of our development, 50